This segment brought to you by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Well, I'm Jerry Moran, United States Senator from Kansas, and this is an opportunity that we take advantage of every year in visiting folks at the state fair. And this morning, with a group of agriculture leaders from across our state, we shared breakfast and had a conversation. But I also have the opportunity to just walk the fairgrounds and go from booth to booth, exhibit to exhibit, and have folks from across our state tell me what's on their mind and to connect. And those are very important conversations for me as I try to prioritize where I should be focused in our nation's capital. In the conversation about agriculture, the topic front and center at the moment in Washington, D.C. is the Farm Bill. It's being negotiated. A Farm Bill has passed the Senate, has passed the House, and now the differences need to be resolved so that we can vote once again and send a bill to the President. The current Farm Bill expires at the end of the month, which means it's going to require an extension or it's going to get done in the next couple of weeks. And the goal is to get it done. Farmers need the certainty of knowing what's there. And this Farm Bill, I think from a farm program point of view, the House and Senate versions are solid, protects crop insurance, which is an important component here on the High Plains where weather is not always our friend. And the issues that are the most difficult is the difference between the House and Senate versions as it relates to SNAP, food programs. So those issues are certainly ones that farmers and ranchers see up front, but I also would add to that list of important topics for consideration in Washington, D.C., for resolution in Washington, D.C., are the circumstances we find ourselves in trade. And it's both trade agreements, NAFTA and TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, agreements that in one case need to be concluded, and in the other we need to re-engage. And then it's also the tariffs. This administration has placed tariffs on other countries, but in retaliation, other countries have then put increasing tariffs on our products. China uses tariffs to retaliate against the United States, and the place they focus that retaliation is agriculture. And so we saw just the threat of tariffs on grain sorghum by China caused the price to drop nearly $1 on day one. And you add to that now soybeans. There is a real challenge in agriculture today because of the tariffs that China is placing on agriculture commodities from the United States. And so then the retaliation occurs. We raise our tariffs. The United States raises tariffs on China. China raises their tariffs even more. And now, worse than tariffs, China is using other reasons, other excuses to keep our products out. Sanitary issues, scientific, so-called scientific issues. They'll just slow the unloading of agricultural commodities from the United States at port in China. So what we see is just an escalating effort to get the attention and damage the other trading partner. My view, and I've expressed it to the President, we ought to quickly resolve our trade agreements with Canada and Mexico. We ought to re-engage, as has happened to some degree with Europe, and get those issues resolved. And then globally, the rest of the world would be willing to take on China for all the bad deeds it does in trade. They steal our trade secrets. They attack us in cyber. They take our patented information and use it to their own advantage. The whole world sees that. We have too many trade battles going on at once, and we ought to get all countries to focus on changing the behavior of China. And that doesn't necessarily mean, and in my view doesn't mean, just escalating tariffs one after another. And so it means today it's harder for Kansas corn and wheat and cattle and meat to get to other markets around the world. And our state, Kansas, is dependent upon what we export outside the United States. It's how farmers and ranchers earn a living. In the absence of those exports, in the absence of that trade, our farmers and ranchers' chances of earning a living are significantly diminished. Piece of good news. The administration in Mexico have announced at least a tentative agreement, an outline of an agreement in regard to Mexico and the United States. That's one of the partners that we deal with in NAFTA. It's Mexico, the United States, and Canada. And so the administration was able to reach an agreement that is apparently acceptable to both the United States and to Mexico. What's missing from that agreement is Canada. Canada is the #1 place in which we sell things in the world from Kansas. And so Canada is important to us. And so the good news is that seemingly the issues between the United States and Mexico are generally resolved. What we now need to do is quickly resolve the differences between the United States and Canada and get a three-party agreement back in place so that Congress can consider it and make a decision about the value of that agreement. So a step in the right direction, but a huge amount of work and an important amount of work yet to be done.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandarin with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.